Good afternoon, faculty. My name is John Van Slyke, and I am the current president of the Association for Higher Education, our faculty union here on campus at Walla Walla Community College. I want to take a few moments. I just returned from the president's office, President Van Osdel's office, and we have some good news to share with you all, and I'm going to be presenting it in the form of this screencast, and I believe President Van Osdel and Human Resources will have some additions perhaps to make. But everything that I'm about to say is in one way or another good news, and better yet, that good news will be reflected in your December 25th paycheck. So how is that for a timely infusion of always needed cash? So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I want to just take some time to prepare you or explain to you the agreement that has been reached in terms of the distribution of turnover savings, and then also some contingency funds that have been made available by Walla Walla Community College. So here's a familiar face, comes around in December, and I think Santa Claus is alive and well this holiday season, and hopefully you will all appreciate this. The agreement that I'm about to talk about features a negotiated compromise agreement between the Association for Higher Education, our faculty union here on campus, and the administration at Walla Walla Community College. And together we hope that the news we're delivering here will be welcome, and it's been a nice process working through this early round of negotiations with the administration here at Walla Walla Community College. So let's talk a little bit. So just a little bit of history, as most of you know, if you've been around here for 10 years or so, you certainly know. But our present salary schedule has been one that has struggled over the past 7 years or so of existence. The salary schedule that we negotiated, the Association of Higher Education and the administration at Walla Walla Community College, was highly dependent upon legislature approval of cost of living adjustments, or COLAs, and also funded increments for things like PIU and seniority steps, things of that nature. Unfortunately, about the very month that the ink dried on our present salary schedule, legislative funding of things like COLAs and increments all but disappeared. In fact, we haven't had one in 7 or 8 years. We're hopeful that that's going to change. There are some promising developments in the governor's current budget, also coupled with some promising conversations that have been had with legislators throughout the state. We'll see. Hopefully we're witnessing a change, but we won't count on that. What we will count on is the following, which we can rest assured are new dollars that will be distributed. So in the absence of these cost of living adjustments and legislative funded increments, our salary schedule has failed to keep pace with many of our counterpart institutions throughout the state. And as a result, last the association spent time looking into this about a year ago. Walla Walla Community College, by average salary, was toward the bottom of the state, of the 34 institutions in the state, clearly in the bottom quartile in terms of average salary. And both the administration here at Walla Walla Community College and the association have made it one of their pressing priorities to address and do something about this sorry state of affairs. Anyway, in the absence of these COLAs and increments, there's been, I think, something of a strategy by both the administration and the association to try to make the best out of a not so ideal situation. In order to remain competitive, the administration has saw fit to emphasize recruitment, and as a result, the administration has oftentimes tried to do whatever it can to have competitive starting salaries. and so the emphasis upon recruitment. Unfortunately, at times this has created something of a double standard, whereby in an effort to increase starting salaries, we have sometimes paid people outside of Walla Community College recruits, we've paid them more money than we pay our own employees based on their past experience. So for example, if you had 10 years of experience at a different community college or teaching in some other capacity, that would be perhaps enough to have you placed on our salary schedule higher than someone who had 10 years of experience at Walla Walla Community College. This, of course, has been a concern really to everyone involved, but especially to the association, because this has impacts upon morale, fairness, equity, all of those things. So AHE has done what it can to stress retention, that we want to make sure we're treating the people that we do have on board fairly so that we can keep them. And so the current arrangement, as you will see, is an effort to try to do something really about both recruitment and retention, but specifically I think there's definitely lots to celebrate on the retention end of the agreement that you're about to become familiar with. So as you probably know, every year, or most every year, there are faculty who have retired the year before. And generally speaking, when faculty retire, their replacements, if they are replaced, hopefully they are replaced, and when they are replaced, their replacements are generally paid a little less than a faculty member who is outgoing. The margin between what we were paying the old faculty member and what we will now be paying the new faculty member is money that can be used, it can be essentially banked and used as turnover, we call it turnover savings. That money can be distributed among existing faculty for the purposes of improving salaries. In the past 7 or 8 years, this has really been essentially the only money that's been available to us because, again, COLAs and increment funding from the legislature have not been forthcoming. So with the proposed turnover, or I should say the proposal for the turnover savings coming into this present academic year, the Association for Higher Education brought a proposal to the administration, and the turnover savings is always negotiated. So we've been, over the course of recent weeks, discussing and trying to distribute these monies. The monies we're talking about are $58,000, actually $59,000 in turnover savings. You can see some of that is actual turnover, others carried over from last year. And we work in increments. Our current salary schedule is based on moving people by an increment for various things that they've accomplished. It could be a seniority increment for a year of service. It could be a PIU increment for having completed another unit of 15 PIUs, so on and so forth. Currently, an increment costs $351 if you count the benefits expenses attached to it. And so we took this total of almost $59,000 divided by 351 to determine how many increments we had to work with. And out of that determination, we began to apply those. And we started by giving every faculty member whose salary is paid out of state funds, we immediately gave them a seniority increment if they worked last year, so during the 2013-14 academic year. There were 81 faculty who qualified for this. Incidentally, if you are not a faculty member whose salary is paid out of state funds, you are still being funded. It's just your money is coming from a slightly different source. So this does apply across the board to everyone. Then we awarded 36 PIUs to the 36 full-time faculty members who have earned a PIU, a unit of 15 PIUs, which then qualifies them for a PIU increment. So this totaled $41,000, give or take. It left $18,000 in surplus. Initially, AHE had intended to use these $18,000 to try to shore up some faculty members who have not been kept, have been sort of falling behind from an equity analysis. And what I mean by that is they are not getting the same benefits. They're falling behind faculty who are hired, say, tomorrow. This other class of faculty members has been somewhat left behind. Their experience at Walla Walla Community College has not been valued by our salary schedule as much as the experience that people outside of our institution have gained. I hope that's clear enough for you. It might be clearer now. So we took this proposal to the administration, and the administration countered, much to our delight. They countered and said, you know, you have $17,000 left over. What if we take that, actually $18,000, and pair it with $29,000 that we will find from contingency funds here at the local institutional level. Together we'll have $47,000 or so. This is enough money that we can take those 33 faculty members who are currently sort of underserved, whose experience is not being valued at on par with those faculty members who are coming from outside. This effectively eliminates that double standard that I mentioned earlier. And so at a cost of $46,000, $18,000 of which is paid through surplus turnover savings, and then $29,000 which is new funds brought from the college, we could accomplish that. So we thought this was really good. I'm going to let you look at this. You can pause and examine this. But these are a couple of charts that Ruth Russo, who incidentally is the person I should have credited at the beginning with designing this PowerPoint to help clarify things for you. This table should help show you how people move from their previous placement on the salary schedule. You can see in this middle column, this is where people are presently. These are the levels to which they will be moved under this new proposed distribution. So I'll let you look at that on your own. Again, this is a graphic to help hopefully show you the rightward shift of people's improved placement on the salary schedule as a result of this agreement. So retention increments, it's worth noting, if you worked last year, if you were full-time faculty last year, you will receive a single increment for seniority, that second bullet there. And then you will also be getting a PIU increment if you earned 15 PIUs or if you reached a 15 PIU threshold sometime during last academic year. Now what's important here is that the retention increments, so for those 33 faculty who are going to be replaced on this salary schedule, those will be awarded first. So that helps because that will then allow any PIU and seniority increments to be placed in addition to your retention increment placement. And that example down below that Ruth put together should help you out if you want to pause and look at that more closely. So I hope you find this exciting. HR is going to be sending out your salary your replacement information, and that should be sent to you soon. In fact, I believe Sherry is going to try to send that out tomorrow, and that'll give you a better sense of where you stand on what impacts this new arrangement has to your salary and your salary placement. So where are we? Well, this is not a permanent fix. There's still going to be negotiations. We'd like to come up with a better salary schedule. That's at the top of our list for negotiations between AHE and the administration, which will be going on throughout the winter. Also, the good news here is we now have something more of a uniform standard. So we've eliminated that ugly double standard. And also it brings new money in that the administration has made possible. New salary schedule is still necessary.